And this is Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services, talking business from my home office in White Plains, New York. Another episode of our Talking Business interview series, talking with leaders in the fields of banking, insurance, customer service, digital technology, business education, and representing our team in Harrison, New York, CBSI, providing insurance-based benefits to the credit card and checking account industry for over 30 years. And always want to give a shout out to our team that we represent so proudly, that's based in Harrison, New York. Now, today we have a good friend of ours, have a chance to get together with, and that is Vincent Pietrafesa, who is with Stirista, based in San Antonio. He's in their New York office. And Vincent, a proud parent now, a dad for the second time. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. So nice to talk and to see you, albeit virtually. But yeah, something at least good for me came out of this during this coronavirus is my wife and I, we welcomed our second little boy named Hayden. He was born on April 22nd, right in the smack dab of this pandemic, but we are certainly blessed and joyed to be new parents again.
Well, that's great to hear. And, it's been such an eventful couple of months. We're talking that we were at a bunch of events, business trade events in New York City, Direct Marketing Club of New York, and others. And then it all came to an abrupt stop around the 10th, 12th of March. And how has the period been for you? What have you seen with your company and your customers?
Yeah, so the last live event that I attended, I actually hosted, it was March 13th. It was the Direct Marketing Club of New York. I'm a board member, as you know. You're heavily involved as well, attending events and doing some wonderful video production and stories for us. That event was a comedy night where we had 75 reservations, Ken, and it was going to be one of our biggest, if not the biggest, night event outside of the Silver Apples. And then the day of, people canceled, and we had 20. Wow. But those 20 people who were there were entertained. It was informative. No one was shaking hands. It was kind of the elbow bump sort of thing. But for me and Stirista, we love going to trade shows. We do a lot of business at trade shows. We love to show up to trade shows and speak at events. So it's hit us pretty hard. The last one we went to as a company was Ramp Up in San Francisco. But other than that, with the exception of some of our clients maybe pausing some of their marketing efforts, we've been doing well. Just recently, we did a capital growth raise, and we were just awarded $13 million in growth capital from an awesome organization called Wavecrest Growth Partners based in Massachusetts. So we're hiring during this time. We actually were even prior to the investment and even during the pandemic. So we've been hiring in some key areas. So we're actually growing, which is, we're lucky to say.
Well, that's good to hear that you've been able to thrive during this period. Tell us, our audience, a little bit of what are some of the key services of Stirista?
Sure. So Stirista, we're an identity marketing company. With that, we actually have our own business to consumer and business to business databases, our own proprietary databases. And with those databases of data are utilized for email marketing. They're to help customers get new customers, new leads. We also are there to take a customer's first party data, house that, enrich that data. Especially on the B2B side, Ken, data decays 20 to 30% every year. Gone are the days where someone worked at a company for 40 years and you get that gold watch at the end of it. People were at jobs every 2 years, or unfortunately people are losing jobs. So keeping that data fresh, enriching it. We also have all of our data available in the display programmatic space. So if you wanted to do an omni-channel campaign, and we're recently launching very, very soon, a customer data hub to take that data in and do a variety of different modeling, testing, email marketing. But at the core of it, it's to help companies get new customers.
Now we're talking with Vincent Pietrafesa of Stirista, and you made an interesting point about how data decays faster than it used to, especially kind of you were referring to business data. Why is that, and how do you handle that?
Yeah, like I said, I think a lot of times on the B2B side, it's Vincent at Stirista.com. So it's based on the jobs that you have. I think it's because people are taking new jobs more than they ever were. Like I said, people aren't staying at the same job for 30 years. It's really, or some people are losing jobs. Industries are combining. Companies are closing. So people are thinking, and unfortunately now during the pandemic, is a lot of people are losing their jobs. So you want to constantly make sure you're updating your data, and Stirista helps do that. I think on the consumer side, it happens less. I have a few email addresses, but I don't really change them. I have a Hotmail address that I've had since I'm 22 years old that I still use, and I have a Gmail address. But on the B2B side, someone like me who's been in this industry for 20 years, I've been at maybe 4 different companies, but I also know people 20 years have been at 11 different companies, right? So you want to constantly make sure your data is clean, updated, so you're reaching the right people.
Actually, you bring up a point that, you see it on LinkedIn, that sometimes people's home email address is more of a constant for them than their business email address.
Yeah, I up until recently, until I got a Sales Navigator LinkedIn subscription that my company's paying for, I've always used my personal address because that's been the one constant on LinkedIn.
And actually now for, phone numbers, almost all of us are using mobile phones. If we weren't using them extensively before for business, now we certainly are now.
Yeah, you certainly are. And you're also using if you're calling someone's office number, it's going to go to voicemail. They're not at the office. So that's another thing that Stirista helps. We have this product, Stirista Link. It helps you link business to consumer and being able to contact, Ken Kraetzer at home. So it's because more importantly now, a lot of people are working at home. You don't turn off your consumer hat. You don't turn off your B2B hat when you're at home. So, or working.
Hey, Vincent, you said that you've got a new podcast out, The Marketing Stir. Tell us a little bit about that. Who have been some of your guests? So what have you talked about on that?
Yeah, we're really excited about it. The Marketing Stir, it's myself and our CEO, AJ Gupta of Stirista. We wanted to do this for about a year now. Ever since I joined, we wanted to do it because our personalities are so different. AJ and I'm this loud, energetic, and he's this just even keeled no matter what CEO, and we're just funny together. So the Marketing Stir, it's a stirring up marketing, Stirista. It's about leaders in our industry getting their take on the current state marketing and also having fun as well. We just had Annika Gupta on. She's the president of LiveRamp, and we talked about obviously the changes that LiveRamp's going through, how big they are now, but we also talked about the show The Bachelorette and our love for The Bachelorette. So it's fun things like that. We're trying to make marketing more fun, get a different view on the people that we're interviewing. So Annika Gupta we've had Aaron Hoffman, the co-founder of LiveRamp. We have Andy Keith, the CEO of Multiview, Gretchen Littlefield, who you may know. She was our very first guest. She is the CEO of More, and it's been fun. Very soon, I'm talking to a woman who owns a company, a franchise that cleans up after murder scenes. And after meth labs explode. So it's pretty cool. And they reached out to us. So it's, yeah, the Marketing Stir, it's available anywhere you consume your podcasts, Spotify, iTunes. It's been fun. It's a great outlet for me who loves to talk and loves to learn more about the people in our industry.
No, that's terrific. It's just like I enjoy doing these episodes and meeting people and learning all the time. Tell us a little bit about what are your thoughts for your clients as we're starting to see more businesses open up? I know you do work in retail. Shopping malls are starting to open up around the country. They haven't really opened up in the New York area, but in most areas, shopping malls have opened up. Some of the restaurants here just opened up for outdoor dining. What are some of the keys of communications to keep customers informed as to when a business is going to open up and what services that they're going to be able to provide?
Yeah, I think communication is key, especially now. You know, a lot of restaurants, we'll deal with some larger chain restaurants. We also have clients who, whether it's a national hair cutting brand, I was forced to cut my own hair. I wasn't going for this look here. I just messed up and I was like, oh geez, I gotta shave my head now. But letting people know that, especially a hair cutting, we work with an awesome company called Great Clips. Great Clips is not opening up everywhere yet, but where they are opening up, you want to let your customers know. And restaurants, I think one of the things I'm realizing now is I'm fortunate to be on a lot of restaurants' lists because I always make myself, if there's a restaurant I like, I make sure I get on their newsletter, what's new, what new dishes, there, a new chef coming in. Because think about all these restaurants, Ken, they don't gather email addresses. They don't ask their customers or have a newsletter or even have email marketing that they're doing. How are you going to tell people that you're reopening? You're going to put flyers on their car? Well, maybe they're not driving as much. So I think it's important, a lesson, if you're a restaurant especially, get information on your customers. Opt them in to receive email. Talk to them, communicate with them. Use a small service like a MailChimp or a constant contact just to keep in touch with them. So that's what I'm learning in all this. It's like, if you didn't do that and you're slowly starting to open up, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, that's what I think differentiates the chain restaurants and stores where they have more marketing capability, more marketing promotion in place versus a lot of standalone retailers. I see that in local businesses here where it's really a struggle. And sometimes that's where marketing communications agencies are able to help them with putting together basic direct marketing plans to collect email addresses, perhaps, and other methods. So is there any other key advice you've been talking to clients about to help with reopen? Certainly some industries are going to really struggle. Everything in the travel industry right now is really going to be slow. Any other key industries that you're working with?
Yeah. So, I mean, for us, we've been strong in retail, but we're very strong in marketing technology, software. I think a lot of those on the B2B side have been, really, untouched in a way because you still need to conduct business. The way we've been communicating with our customers, Ken, it's really not I've been getting so many email messages like, hey, we're really here to help during these tough times. Really? How? Are you going to come watch my 2 children? Like, how are you going to help? Taking a sympathetic approach, but also, hey, let's try to get back to business as usual. Let's talk about, this is how we're helping other customers by making sure you're still in front of them with email communications. They're not forgetting about you. We've also started working with industries we've never been involved in. We just had 2 successful campaigns with companies eerily similar in developing plastics and plastics in front of, like dividers for
Yeah.
cash registers during this COVID-19 virus, dealing with, just partitions and signs and things on the floor that you're seeing now, like step 6 feet back. So it's opened it up. We're now working with more services like we're on now, like, to web conferencing, different trade shows we're starting to work with, who are doing virtual events. So it opened the door on some opportunity side. But again, there were a few hard months there where if we're working with a gym, people aren't going to that gym. It's closed. If you're working with, customer service or hair cutting places, they weren't open. So we've had to really battle it out and try to reinvent ourselves. But the messaging that we're talking to people, sympathetic, yes, but to the point, this is what we're seeing, this is how we could help. And I think our customers and new customers appreciated that.
And Vincent, you mentioned earlier that you like to be active on the national trade show circuit, and certainly with the New York Direct Marketing Club. Some of those activities are not going to be available. It's uncertain what the fall is going to look like as far as conventions and conferences. How do you recommend companies make up for that, to get their message, get their presentations in front of their prospect audience?
Yeah, for me, Ken, I love going to trade shows for a variety of reasons. I often, I'm also lucky to speak at some of these events. I probably wouldn't have reached if I was just kind of walking the floor. I think a few things. I've been hearing from people that they're getting 5,000 people to a webinar. I just did a panel for B2B marketing, the Ignite conference, which would have been in person. And I was talking to a client of mine from Safety Chain Software, and they told me we did a webinar and 5,000 people showed up. So I think more virtual events, get your content out there. I attended that B2B conference where I spoke at, and it was pretty good. There was a room where you could go in, a virtual room, and every 3 minutes you're talking to a new person and networking. You probably wouldn't talk to that many people. So I also think what you also need to do is, once this does clear up, is strategic conferences, if you will, smaller conferences. Stirista, we're here in New York, invite 6 or 7 potential partners to a small gathering, a dinner where you could space but also talk, intimate, breaking bread that way. I think either virtual or intimate are going to be the way of the immediate future. I'm hoping that it picks up because I'm part of events like Marketing Edge, the Edge Awards. I'm part of the Silver Apple Awards. So I think a lot of that's going to be virtual this year, in the hopes of really blowing it out in 2021.
On webinars, Vincent, what do you see as the way to attract an audience? Is it having a big name speaker, or is it just having very timely subject matter? What's the key to attracting an audience to a webinar?
I think either of those. I think if you have a really well-known speaker, but he or she is known for delivering relevant content or being an expert in that field, or making it very vertical based and say, hey, this is how your particular vertical could help. It is all about the content, making sure it's relevant, but making it, how could you thrive, change, adapt in this environment, giving people something to that'll help them during this time. And people are at home, so you could listen to a virtual event. You could attend a virtual event, as opposed to maybe you're at the office, you're talking to coworkers, you have to go to face-to-face meetings, so you have more time. I think people are starving for really good webinars or virtual events. And I think these virtual events, I mean, as hard as it to say, like, keep the price down. Keep the price down for people. it's not the same as you're attending in person. It isn't. Yeah, but so keep it down, keep costs low, and just that's going to be a way to continue getting relevant content out.
Absolutely, a key way to stay in touch with customers, prospects, and share learning. And Vincent Pietrafesa, Vice President at Stirista, based in San Antonio, but he's in the New York office, and a great friend from the Direct Marketing Club of New York. Do you have a final thought for us today?
Just, I can't wait to get out there and to see my customers in person. And I can't wait to see you again, Ken. And I can't wait to do these live events with the DMCNY of New York. And just a final thought, the way I'm keeping in touch with, clients or like-minded individuals is through my podcast. So, the Marketing Stir, please check us out. And this has been great, Ken. Always a pleasure catching up.
Always good to talk with you. And again, congratulations on the birth of your second baby, you and your wife.
Thank you.
And always good to talk with you. And we'll see you again in person very soon. We look forward to that. And this is Ken Kraetzer on behalf of CBSI Services based in Harrison, New York, and our team that provides insurance-based benefit programs to the consumer, credit card and checking account and commercial accounts as well for over 30 years. And a great job by the team managing our clients' business and their customers, taking care of them during this COVID-19 period. So again, always good to talk with Vincent Pietrafesa. And again, for CBSI Services, Ken Kraetzer from my home office in White Plains, New York. Have a great day, everybody.